women don't want just any man. They want a high quality, high value man that makes their heart sing. And once you're in a relationship with a man, women want that man to stay this way. But all too often, amazing women just aren't attracting any kind of men at all, or if they are, they're never the right type of guy. And then when they're in relationship, we always find that the men change so quickly. This is because there is an essential ingredient to relationship that women just don't know. Women haven't been taught this. And this is exactly what I teach women in the Attractive Persuasion Code of my Love Codes program. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today and how when you start to implement this, it'll actually change the way that you attract men and the way that you relate with men within a relationship straight away. Women who start to implement this find that they start attracting really high quality men effortlessly. It's like we don't have to go out and make it happen. And those men step up and really want to give to these women. And if you're already in a relationship, a lot of the women who implement this, who are in relationship already, feel that the men who started off amazingly but kind of waned somewhere along the way start to step up again and start to take charge. And these women end up feeling like they're the woman in the relationship. They feel like they're being taken care of. They feel like they're being met and they're feeling that deep connection. And it's such an important aspect of the Love Codes program. I'm going to break it down for you today as best as I can. It's taken me 25 years as a love and relationship specialist to work this out, to break it down into bite-sized pieces so that we can start to implement it and get a change right away. What it really boils down to is something called polarity. A lot of people have heard about this recently. It's pretty popular. And for those of you who don't know what polarity is, let's talk about it like it's two ends of a magnet. And within men and women, we both have a masculine and a feminine polarity. We both have both, but when it comes to people coming together, the two different ends of the poles, the two polarities attract. Masculine and feminine attract, and just like negative and positive of a magnet attract. But if we're embodying the two poles, the two same poles, then instead of attraction, we start to have a repelling that occurs. Now, this is all well and good, but what we need to understand is that we live in a very masculine world, an outcome-oriented world. And so in order to make any sort of traction for ourselves, to have any sort of impact in the world and to be successful, women have had to really step into their masculine and access and activate that within themselves, which is fine. It's fun. It's great to do out in the world when we're being effective and when we're working. But when we come back into our relationship with a man, or when we start to relate with men, if we're still embodying that masculine polarity, what happens is we're not attracting, we're instead repelling. And if you're single, this is going to have that effect. You're not going to be attracting men towards you. What I've found with women, as soon as they start to embody that feminine polarity when it comes to their intimate relationships or potential relationships, they start to attract men, and really high quality men. And when I say high quality, I mean men who are able and willing to step into their masculine polarity. And this is so satisfying for women, because even for women, and especially for women who are really powerful and really successful and really got it going on, when we come home or when we come step into our intimate relationships, we don't want to be that anymore. We want to actually feel like we can receive that masculine love and attention. And this is how we do it. We need to learn this attractive persuasion, where we learn how to put down that masculine hat that we can pick up again whenever we want to. It's not about being one or the other. It's about learning the dexterity between the two. So in attractive persuasion, we learn how to put down that masculine hat and how to step into that feminine polarity. The wonderful thing about being in that feminine polarity and attractive persuasion is that we learn how to, wait for it, receive. I know that all the women listening to this have heard that they need to receive better. All the women watching this want to receive better. We want to and need to learn how to open up and receive that love and receive that attention and say yes to being taken care of. And this is a really big part of the feminine polarity and what we learn to do in attractive persuasion. And it really is about putting down that masculine hat and stepping into that feminine aspect. The feminine values or the feminine traits in the feminine polarity are things like receiving. It's about being experience oriented instead of outcome oriented. It's about being collaborative rather than always focusing on what we produce and being rather than being directive, it's about being receptive, and it's about attracting rather than making things happen. This is really great news for those of you who are single, because it means that once we step into this beautiful feminine polarity, you really do start attracting masculine qualities, masculine men. And when you're in a relationship and you step into that feminine aspect, then you start to attract those masculine qualities from your partner. And the amount of women who've done this process and have found themselves, who have been in long-term relationship and have, felt like their men have stepped out of that masculine role, and they do this, they implement this attractive persuasion, all of a sudden their men are stepping up into that role that they knew them in, or that they'd always wanted them to be in. It really is, it's not magic, it's actually really just the building blocks of what relationships are supposed to be. And because we've been inundated and programmed into this masculine way of being in the world, women have lost touch with their ability to step back into the feminine in relationship. I promise you, it is easy to do once you know how, and the outcome, the benefits that you gain from this are so profound that you'll never do it any other way. It really is one of the biggest aspects to the Love Codes program. If you're interested in learning more about this and wanting to really unpack it, then just click the link below to the Love Codes program and you'll get a lot more information.